Tonight on AfterBuzz Sports After Show for the NBA playoffs, we say goodbye to a couple teams, preview some second-round matchups, and where's Dwight Howard? Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
This is pumping me up.
Right, right.
I'm hyped now.
Music.
I'm ready. I feel like I almost have to do a starting lineup announcement to this song.
I'm cool with it now.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening live on AfterBuzzTV.com, the AfterBuzz TV YouTube page, iTunes, SoundCloud, like and subscribing about AfterBuzz TV and AfterBuzz Sports as we're here to break down the NBA playoffs. Waiting for the beat to keep going?
No.
But,
There we go.
I got this. Beat's gonna keep going. I'm Josh Tariff. Twitter's at Josh Tariff. Over to my left, Josh Johnson at JJ the Talented.
Yeah.
I was ready. I was ready for
I
it.
was ready for you
I'm
too.
gonna save it.
Okay.
Save it for the finals.
All right. On the other
Save
side.
me for last. I'm like the star player. I need the attention.
I thought Jill was a star, but fine. That's the little Jill. It's Jill Munroe.
Hey, hit me up. I love to talk sports. Follow me everywhere. Let's go.
And at point guard.
I'm the Lance Stevenson. I think I'm the most important
From,
person.
where'd you go to school?
You got the earline. You got the earline.
From the Pepperdine.
Where did that breeze come from?
You're like, what is she doing? What is she doing?
Number -7. At Deanjilo TV, Deanjilo Platt.
Whoa! Crowd roar. And he adjusts. He's like, there's so much going on in every
just blew
direction.
him out.
And engineering in the
You
booth.
said you were Lance. I'm just trying. Look, can you imagine how
Now I
disturbing that
understand
would
how
be?
LeBron feels.
Right.
Yeah.
When LeBron was just like, what?
And I have cuffs on my ears.
Right.
Like, it got in.
So-
It penetrated his eardrums.
I was going to introduce our head coach, Josh Rodriguez, to the beat too, but we kept going and the beat dropped. So head coach Josh _Rodriguez _.
Oh, that's messed up, man. You gotta introduce me.
Josh
Well,
in the
get the beat
booth.
going. Get the beat going back.
Oh, let's get the beat going back. Here we go.
Yeah, get the beat going back.
Run it back.
All right.
Hey.
Okay.
And your head coach, Josh _Rodriguez _.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm in the booth today, but you got a nice panel with you. And if you guys want to follow me on Twitter, you can at Josh _Rodriguez _. I know these four will take care of you right now, so enjoy the show.
Do we like our head coach?
We like our head coach.
do.
And make sure you guys hit us up in the chat room. I'm in the chat room waiting
Oh,
for you
yes,
all to
chat
join
room.
me. You guys have been so active. So
Yeah.
hit us up.
General Manager Kevin Undergaro. Who? I mean, I can keep going.
We got a
Owner.
squad. I think that is the important note. We have a full squad. Don't play with the
do.
team.
Speaking of full squads, Spurs prove they have a squad tonight. They eliminate the Memphis Grizzlies. They win 103-96, win this series in 6 games. Led not by Kawhi. I mean, he did have the most points, but really, they're led by 98-year-old Tony Parker.
Who was dipped in the
Flashback.
fountain of youth tonight. Welcome back,
Seriously.
Tony
Flashback.
Parker.
27 points and 4 assists
Yeah,
for the
11 of
ageless one. 11 for 14 from the field. Where did this come from, and why didn't Conley stop him?
I mean, I think, first of all, this is the best game Parker's had all series. Maybe he was rested. Maybe he was like, I'm tired. I don't want to go to game 7. Let's just close it out so when we go back home, we're on to the next round. But I think he just had a burst of energy. He was due for a good game.
Yeah, I'm with you on the burst of energy. Like Zebo had about 2 games ago. Like every old dog has his day.
Yeah.
I think today was Tony Parker's day, and he came through with a clutch shot, especially in the. It wasn't a clutch. It
He
wasn't
had
like
a couple
must.
of nice threes.
Yeah, he had a little pop about 10 feet out that kind of iced the game for him a little bit. So
It's
yeah.
what we'll see from the Spurs. Tony Parker will give you 1 game a series, and it's gonna be the elimination game. He's gonna warm up. He's gonna warm up each game during the duration of the series, game 1, game 2. And if it's a clinching game, Tony Parker's gonna show up.
He's gonna show up.
He can't show up every game. You don't got that no more. But so I think that's just gonna be what Tony Parker does from now on.
Well, I mean, there was really a great showing of the depth of this team tonight. So obviously we had Tony Parker, Kawhi being Kawhi, 29 and 9 with 4 assists. He's always having the big games. Marcus Aldridge finally had a solid game, 17 and 12. David Lee, the
Josh
journeyman.
Rodriguez's favorite
7 and
player.
6. 7 and 6.
I miss him.
Yeah, he was 3 or 4 from field goal.
Yeah, played 26 minutes, had 6 boards. This guy was pretty much left for dead like 5 years ago in the NBA.
Yeah.
No one would play him. Popovich finds a way to
Always.
give guys good roles.
And resuscitate them even if they've kind of maybe peaked out on other teams. He knows how to bring them back up, find a role for them, and insert them in. He did that a lot for Steven Jackson. He always picks up those guys maybe on the fringe if they are good in some aspect and, you know, gives them a boost.
So what you're saying is the Spurs are the dancing with the stars of the NBA because it resuscitates careers. Is that what you're saying?
That
I see where you
know
went.
the
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
and the
Formulas.
formula is really more so than what the actual is bigger than the sum of the parts. At times, I could see that.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
And really, you can say kind of the opposite right now for Memphis, though. So we were just talking about like the depth of the Spurs. Now the Grizzlies, all 5 of their starters in double figures. Their starters produced.
They ball.
This isn't their team though. Like from a big picture standpoint, like it's really good for them to have competed in this series and get 2 wins, but they invested a max contract in Chandler Parsons. Like, you know what I mean? Like that was supposed to be another element to this team, that, like scoring wise.
Perennial injured Chandler Parsons.
Not a smart decision, obviously, but
DM diving Chandler Parsons.
yeah. So
Well,
I mean,
Well, I'm about to tell you why I think this is the last we're going to see of the Grizzlies for at least a little while in the playoffs.
Oh wow. Okay.
Heading into their offseason right now, they have Zach Randolph, Vince Carter, and Tony Allen as unrestricted free agents. Jermichael Green is a restricted free agent. Of course, we don't know what Chandler Parsons is up to, and they do not have a draft pick.
yeah, it's not looking good.
Their offseason is blank right now.
In the max contract.
With a max
Chandler
contract, Chandler Parsons.
Yeah.
So you said Zach Randolph, Vince Carter.
And Tony Allen are unrestricted,
Allen.
and Jermichael Green is a restricted
They
free
still
agent.
got the 2 most important players they need, though. They got
I mean, you
Gasol and
probably,
Conley.
yeah,
Yeah.
they probably could give Vince, if they want a 41-year-old Vince Carter coming back, you know, in he gets a veteran salary, so it doesn't count that much against their total cap.
Is that what you want to do though?
Right. Do you want to spend money on... I know it's not a ton because
It's
the
not
veteran
a
salary.
ton, but I think here's the thing. You just said that they're losing 3 veterans. So that means that their team is going to be in flux. They're going to need someone. Conley doesn't... I don't know this to be true, at least, as far as Conley being a vocal leader. He doesn't seem like he's the leader of their team to me, no matter how solid he is. Seems to come from the likes of Tony Allen or those type of guys to set the tone.
And they're all leaving.
Correct. So that's why I feel like you have to retain one. So I don't know if it's Allen, Zebo, or Vince. I think Vince is probably the most likely just because he seems to have been the most stable as of late, as far as if you want to bring in an older player. But it just kind of depends on the direction the team takes. I don't think that they take so many steps back because they have kind of been able to, no matter as in flux they have been, no matter if it's like really well season and then firing their coach in the off season, losing key components, they always manage to stay right in the mix somehow of that top 8 in the West. Because who's going to, I mean, I know that the West is steep, but who's really going to come in and usurp them from that spot? We don't know what's going to happen with OKC. We see that there's fringe between Denver and Portland, those kind of teams right there, you know, jockeying back and forth around there.
Portland's just on the rise. They're not losing anyone this offseason. And they have 3 draft picks.
They do. I just feel like Portland's been in flux for the past couple of years, and even when they're very, very good, when it was Lillard time a few years back and they knocked Houston out of the playoffs, for some reason, something just doesn't come together for me. And in my mind, it's their head coach.
Oh, I disagree with you on that.
No, you
completely.
think it's
I
not
think
him?
Stotts is a very strong coach.
Okay.
They're a very young team. Their center was hurt in the playoffs here.
Nurk, he came on and was very good for them.
For that, when he was playing, he was
Right.
very good for them, and that's what helped them emerge to get into the playoffs. They're a young team. Everyone is still under contract or as team option. You have 3 draft picks. You have arguably the second best backcourt in the NBA. I think they have a ton of potential to also land a free agent. Memphis. Convince me why, if I'm a coveted free agent, why should I go to Memphis? You're giving all this money to Parsons, who's hurt all the time. You just made Conley the highest paid point guard in the NBA. Gasol's making lots of money. You have no bench. Why should I go to Memphis?
I guess I'm pretty high. I think that's a consistently underrated basketball team. The point of the matter is they still have Marc Gasol and Mike Conley, who are like the 2 best players on their team, and more importantly, the team's identity is still built in defense. They're not. You're looking at points they're losing really, but their identity. They still have Tony Allen. They're not. They don't do the style that everyone else does, and that's why they can still win because their style is in such a class. That's why the Spurs had a hard time with them. In most of the NBA right now, you're out shooting each other. They have that old school style, and I don't think that their weaknesses will show as much from an offensive standpoint if they continue to keep that identity next year. Now, getting a new star from like Chandler Parsons was supposed to be that star. Like, it's gonna be really tough now. But if they did have Chandler Parsons, if he was that guy, or if they brought in Harrison Barnes in addition to, they would be a 50-win team. Like, this is still a very good team, but now it's a bottom half team as opposed to a top 5 team like it was in years past. So that's why I think the fact that their defense is still their identity and it's still very effective is why they'll still be consistent or at least relevant next year.
I think you could probably get some type of mid-level big man. I mean, off the top, I can't think of who's going to be available this summer, but the middle, to Deanjilo's point, their reputation is sort of built on defense. And I think obviously whatever Coach Dave Fizdale is doing there, they're rallying around him, just like when he went off in the playoffs, and that kind of was a spark for him, and all the players rallied together and we're going to pay his fine. So he has something going there. There's some type of connection. So I feel like there's some mid-level player that you could get, maybe not a superstar or a star talent, but they could be one of those teams that's just a blue-collar, grinded-out team, and it may not have a big star, but a solid team that can get you through and keep you in the top half of the West. I mean, not the top half, but at least in playoff contention.
And think about who are the 8 and 7 seed teams. You got the Blazers, you got the Nuggets, the Pelicans. Like, it's not. It got real bad after the 7th seed, so it's hard for me to believe that they're going to be so bad that they can't get an 8 or 7 seed. Now, would they be championship contenders? No, but they aren't now either. So, but I don't think they're going to sell ship, and I don't think they should because they still have a lot of good pieces.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, now that you're saying that, I kind of see Portland kind of leapfrogging them next year when it comes to playoff seedings. I don't think that they can maintain their playoff seedings right now. I think they'll drop definitely.
I think Denver. I mean, they just missed the playoffs this year. I think Denver was going to leapfrog Memphis as well.
Denver is one of those weird teams for me. Like, they started off really quiet. I don't feel like they have an identity either. I feel as though they're going through a lot of things.
They're young.
They're not sure if Kenneth Faried is their franchise player, if they're looking elsewhere. They had too many bigs in the mix. It just kind of was a weird situation to me that they need to sort out.
Well, the Spurs move on, and now we know they are facing the Houston Rockets in the second round. You want to talk about a change of styles, moving from playing the Grizzlies to playing the Rockets.
Yeah.
Who's going to be the X factor in this matchup?
X factor.
I'm going to say Trevor
Lou
Ariza.
Williams. Oh, okay.
Why is he gonna match up with?
He's going to be the one guarding Kawhi.
Yeah.
So he's got to find a way to. Obviously, no one's going to stop Kawhi. No player in the NBA is going to stop him. But if you can keep him around 20.
Slow him down a little bit.
Yeah.
Pop called him tonight the best player in the league right now.
And there's a very strong argument for that.
Deservedly so.
I mean, I think I could consider him the most complete.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
He's the best two-way player.
Yeah.
That's how
He plays both offense and defense.
Yeah.
He's not going to give up and slack off on the defensive side like others. James Harden. But, Harden's gotten a little better this year. I forgive him.
But, yeah, so Ariza's got to find a way to slow him down. And then it's also a matter of just, the Spurs in general trying to keep up with how many scorers Houston has.
That's what I was gonna say.
Houston can fill it up in buckets.
I like Houston in this one. I
I
really
do too. I do think something that was pointed out, one thing that is going to be better for the Spurs is that Houston isn't a physical team. So they can't they're not the team that's going to bang with them, and that will be better for the Spurs after coming off of this series where they, got a little roughed up, and they're an older team anyway, so recovery is an issue.
Yeah.
At least the flight time won't be that wrong, freeways, well, not freeway, what is it? Interstate. I don't think.
Yeah,
freeways are
I
that
think
dangerous.
there's a big advantage for the Spurs because, like you're saying, the older guys, travel always catches up with you. They could not have asked for a better opponent in that regard because they're literally just hopping on a bus,
right,
and heading down a couple hours down the road.
They're not going to hop on the bus. They're going to take that charge.
They're gonna get on that flight.
Absolutely.
Whatever. It's a short flight.
Yeah.
It's a short flight. Whatever they, they'll Uber it. I don't know.
Uber helicopter like ballers do.
Coach Rodriguez in the booth. How do you feel this matchup in the second round is going to play out?
I like Houston a lot. I think the X factor to answer your question is LaMarcus Aldridge. He,
Boo.
No,
I
listen
agree,
to
though.
what I'm saying. He got against Memphis. It's just a bad matchup for him that he can't bang with Marc Gasol and Zach Randolph and the big guys down low. So now against Houston, it's gonna be more spread out. He's not gonna have to play the post as much. He can, spread out the floor. It's gonna be high paced, all that good stuff. So I think if LaMarcus plays well, I think the Spurs have a chance. But if he plays like he did this series, I think the Houston takes it probably like 6.
Who's the one who would be guarding Aldridge for Houston?
I mean, they could have Ryan Anderson.
Oh, yeah, probably Anderson.
Yeah, but that's not really going to be a matchup.
Right, no, Aldridge is going to dominate that
They
matchup.
probably put Capella on.
He has to. He has to for them to be. I think Houston is a far more talented team, but I'm so low on them from a championship standpoint. Yeah, and you got Pop versus Mike D'Antoni. Like, I just think Pop got something up his sleeve for them, but it's all contingent upon LaMarcus Aldridge consistently showing up in each game and exploiting his matchup.
Houston to me just has too much firepower.
They have a lot
That's
of talent.
what I
On
feel.
paper,
Yeah.
and too much speed. I don't think that San Antonio can keep up with them.
Right, and we're
Tony
talking-
Parker is going to have to continue to play like this. We're going to have to see a resurgence of Manu.
Yeah.
I just think, especially when Kawhi can only do so much,
Yeah.
you might have a lot of faith in LaMarcus Aldridge, and this might even be a better matchup for him. I just don't. He never, for me, it's been years since he's really delivered.
Yeah, I mean, to me, before the playoffs started, I was thinking, all right, we're going to have Spurs and Rockets in the second round, and the Spurs are just going to crush them. Then after watching how both teams performed in the first round, again, obviously Houston's a completely different matchup than the Grizzlies were, but I expected the Spurs to have a much easier time in this first round than they did. Houston's got too many weapons. They might be deeper than the Spurs, as deep as we were just talking about they are. I think Houston wins this in 6.
Interesting. On paper, I completely agree with you guys. Houston is the better team, but I don't think Houston is going to win this. I just don't believe that they had. I still see them as a team that blew the lead. When they got past the Clippers a couple years ago, right? Because the Clippers kind of blew that series. I don't see that as a team that's really over the hump. I don't really believe James Harden to be the leader, a leader enough to be able to help them defeat a team like the Spurs. Like I just don't believe in
James
the
Harden is a
Rockets.
changed man since he let the
I don't-
Instagram chicks go. Come on now, this year he let go of Chloe. You haven't seen him popping up with any booty clubs and all of that. I think that has worked out well for him this year.
We'll see. I'm intrigued, but I don't believe in the I know people have them being competitive to the Warriors. I also think the Spurs will play the Warriors better. So I'm still pro Spurs, and I think it's because I just believe in Pop and his team. I don't think they're a more talented team though. So we'll see. Yeah. I think more than anything though, it'll be a competitive series for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the Spurs are not the only team to advance out of the first round tonight. The Toronto Raptors did so as well.
Called it.
They defeated the Milwaukee Bucks 92-89. However, they gave up a 25-point lead
34-7 run.
and barely escaped.
Barely.
And then they can credit that for the fact that Milwaukee, as resilient as they were in the fourth quarter, they missed 9 free throws.
So
It all comes down to the fundamentals.
throws.
Yeah, man.
I think that was really the deciding factor was the free throws. They just lost by 3. The free throw percentage. What was that free throw percentage for Milwaukee?
In the fourth quarter, 50%.
Fourth quarter 50%, but I think overall it was fairly low.
Let me try to pull it up here. Milwaukee from the line was 64% tonight.
Ooh, can't do that. Can't do
As
that in
opposed to
playoffs.
82% by the Raptors.
Yeah.
Now, we were mentioned earlier as far as how the future does not look so bright for Memphis. The opposite can be said about Milwaukee.
Oh, man.
Now, these guys, first off, you got Jabari Parker, who was hurt.
Injured, right?
He's back. Greek Freak has another year under him. Middleton has another year under him. Thon Maker has such potential.
How do you feel about Wiggins?
Wiggins.
Isn't Andrew Wiggins?
Oh no,
No,
he goes
he's
to
a Timberwolf.
I mean, Timberwolf. I'm sorry, my bad.
I'm like,
I don't know why I thought that. Okay.
I'm like,
I'm sorry. I don't know why that just came in there.
I like him. I like Wiggins.
Never
He's a very
mind.
good player.
Never mind. Run it back. I don't know why that popped in my head. He's on there.
Oh, that's
I just
another
didn't see
game
him
that
off
should be
here.
But
rising
they're,
next year, in the Western Conference.
was that?
Random, no,
Minnesota?
yeah, the team, random. I think that's another team that could be on the rise next year.
Yeah, and
They're young and they're
they got
That's
the
probably what I was thinking. Yeah, because they kind of remind me of each other.
Yeah.
17th pick in the draft. Their only free agents are Jason Terry and Michael Beasley. Snell is a
they'll make it.
restricted free agent. So I mean, they're losing They might lose a couple guys, but nothing that's going to drastically affect their team, like possibly Memphis. This team is definitely on the rise. If Parker can
they're a
stay
threat.
healthy,
The ceiling is the roof, to quote Michael Jordan.
if they're healthy next year, they will be a home court advantage type team, at least for the first round next year in the East.
I think that they'll be an exciting team in the East, can definitely work their way up because the Pacers are on the downward slide. Who else is there to kind of compete with them? I think this experience is going to be really good for them. What were you saying, Deanjilo, that who needs to go work on their three over the summer?
Giannis, yeah, he need to. Well, they need a couple guys, Michael Brogdon. They need to be able to extend the floor a little bit better for them to make that leap. But if they do, then I definitely think.
Oh yeah, I mean, Giannis is just getting better year after year after year.
He's refining his game.
Right.
So Giannis or Anthony Davis?
I would probably say Giannis.
Oh, and he doesn't get as injured as Anthony Davis does.
Correct.
Yeah.
But I feel like
that's a tough one. But I feel
That is a tough one.
Yeah.
I feel Giannis again when you're going to like the complete. Well, I mean, you could say it about Davis too, I guess.
Is it just the sexy pick right now because we just saw him go ham in the playoffs, or because I think that question, you hear a lot of people saying Giannis is the guy, the new face of the next phase of the NBA, which was supposed to belong to Anthony Davis.
I feel like Giannis is going to be more consistent than Anthony Davis because Pelican opponents pretty much double Davis.
Yeah.
Gay got nobody else.
They have Boogie now. Don't forget they have Boogie
let's see how long. Yeah, let's see how long that lasts.
Well, Giannis, I think the way he can impact the game as being a primary ball handler is why I would rather have him on my team, because Anthony Davis is still counting on them to post him up and get him the ball. Giannis is the decision maker.
He's the playmaker.
Yes,
and he has great court vision. Like his court vision.
Yeah. So like in that impact. So I think that's why I would pick him. But obviously Anthony Davis is still a very good player.
Yes.
Now, credit to Toronto for not all of a sudden just falling off the face of the earth like Indiana did the other day when they gave up that huge lead to Cleveland and still be able to maintain it. But giving up this type of lead to a team this young, how concerned should the Raptors be?
I think, don't
Very
the Raptors do
concerned.
that? I mean, I feel like that's part of their game. Obviously, let's just put the cards on the table. Next round against Cleveland,
It's going to be Cleveland.
it's going to be Cleveland. I think that they can be competitive in moments. We've seen them give Cleveland and other teams a good series, even, some wins. But I'm going to have to bring up Josh's point. He doesn't like the Raptors. He doesn't like how they're composed. I think that they're okay. I like them in spurts, but overall they're very inconsistent. I think Kyle Lowry kind of comes in and out.
He doesn't show up, actually. I don't know.
Lowry only, I think, had like one good game this
The
this
22-point
round.
game in game 2.
Yeah,
all the other ones are.
So Lowry really is going to have to step up because it's going to be him versus Kyrie.
He's got to step up so they don't get swept.
Yeah.
Just to make it competitive.
Well, and the other guy I think would be Ibaka. Also, he had a couple good showings in this round. Tonight he had foul trouble early, didn't really get it going. He fouled out of this game, and he's going to be the one to guard either Love or Tristan Thompson. And Tristan Thompson in the first round looked really good.
Tristan Thompson has looked really good this year.
Yeah.
Kardashian curse not affecting him. But I
Now
mean,
that you said that,
it usually happens after they win, though, to be fair.
Okay.
Like the first year, they're good, and then it's afterwards. Remember, Reggie Bush won a Super Bowl while he was with
then he was
Kim.
on a reality show.
Then he was on a reality show. Chris almost won Sixth Man of the Year, Chris Humphries, when he was with her.
And yesterday he did not even get in the game for Atlanta.
Again, so it usually takes place after. But Tristan Thompson, to your point, is surprisingly consistent. He doesn't miss games. He doesn't really get injured, and he started earning his money.
It's because of Coach LeBron, not
That
Coach
plays a large role.
LeBron. Not Coach LeBron.
Thompson, surprisingly, even though they have the same agent, so I kind of feel like those are LeBron's guys. Like, you kind of got to fall in line. Tristan Thompson will stand up for himself and kind of separate himself from those things. So.
Does anyone think the Raptors will win more than one game this series?
It could go 4-2. Didn't Eastern
It
Conference Final
could
go
go
4-2?
4-2, but it probably will go 4-1.
I think they'll get that. What did you call it? A gentleman's sweep.
A gentleman's
They'll
sweep.
They'll get that game, that first home game, game
game
3.
three.
When you're pumped, you got the adrenaline rushing. They'll pull that off. And the Cavs have not. I don't think they handled Indiana well Like
The Cavs haven't played well.
They didn't decisively. So unless they have that well-oiled machine, I don't see.
I
No?
partially disagree with it because I think the way Indiana played, I feel like if they played any other team in the East, they would have advanced.
The
The Pacers.
The Pacers.
Yeah,
Oh,
if they played anyone but the Cavs, they would have
I
advanced
think
the way
so
they
too.
played.
I don't think they were bad.
No, 'cause, I mean the Cavs won by
Cavs are better.
by their 4 wins were by a combined 16 points.
Yeah, the
Right.
games were really close, especially that first game. The Cavs have not played well this season to me. You can obviously never discount LeBron. This will be their third go, should they continue to advance. So for me, they know what to expect from themselves, and they kind of know the road ahead. So I feel like they can pace themselves, but they don't look sharp. If I didn't know this was the playoffs, looking at them play, I wouldn't think that they were playing playoff basketball, that we were at that time for them
I
yet.
guess the question is, do they have to be sharp into the finals? Like, I mean, even against the Wizards, like, how sharp do they have to be if they play the Wizards?
I think the Wizards, for 3 games, I feel as though this year, especially that last game in March, have played them rather competitively. Now, can they beat them 4 times?
Well,
Yeah, who's gonna sneak up on the Cavs? I don't see anybody doing
right
it.
now?
Nobody.
Right now, it doesn't look
But
like that.
I think that the Cavs could beat themselves. They could play themselves out of the game. They could not be sharp. Just these things happen. I was disappointed with how they looked in the Pacers series.
Well,
Not disappointed. That's a strong word, but just
we'll see what's going on with that. Now, we just brought up the Wizards, so let's talk about their game from last night. They took the lead in their series against the Hawks. They won 103-99, took a 3-2 series lead. And this could be because he kind of ruined my Orlando Magic. But let me break down Dwight Howard's series so far. Game 1, 7 points. Game 2, 6 points. Game 3, 5 points. Game 4, he had 16 points and 15 rebounds. Hey, that was a solid showing. Game 5, 5 points.
that's why he's not in Houston anymore or LA.
He has combined in the 5 games for less points than Kawhi had in 1 game, Westbrook had in 1 game, and Harden had in 1 game.
Because he's not a superstar
No,
anymore.
you can't look at him like that anymore.
Dwight is a solid role player. Was there one?
Is he though?
He's a
man.
solid
Is he?
center.
I mean, for the center position,
Yeah.
but I think that people look at Dwight Howard, and he probably is still getting that money, and expect him to be Orlando Magic Dwight
No,
Howard.
that's not him
and
anymore.
that person is gone.
got
We
back
can't
issues.
discount the back injuries. I mean, when you have back issues,
That changes
you kind of
everything.
are never the same. You never really can recover from that. We know that he, in my opinion, is a softer player. So
You're not the only one with that opinion.
I don't want anybody to think it's just because I'm a Laker fan and whatever.
Dwight Howard fans, send your hate mail to @StilettoJill.
Go ahead, and I can give you 99 reasons why I got 99 problems, but
But what? Let it go.
but you know, a Dwight B word isn't one. No, I'm just playing.
Well, to defend Dwight, he's done an excellent job against Marcin Gortat. Marcin Gortat has struggled for the most part throughout the series.
An excellent job with 6 points, not even double digit in rebounds.
He's not impacting. And they've talked about this a lot. He is not impacting the box score, but he is making an impact in the game when he's out there. But again, he's getting paid to impact a little bit more. He's getting paid to do both, but he's not. But I mean, I know you guys are super low on Dwight, but if you take out the aspect of expecting him to be a superstar anymore, I do not think he's been horrible for them. He's not the reason that they're down in this series.
Gortat's averaging more points per game in this series than Howard is.
Because he's a better center than him now.
Right.
Period.
Do we have Dwight's rebound average for this series?
No, rebounds. He's done all right. He's been double digits in rebounds.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I was thinking.
I mean, Gortat. He had an 18 rebound game.
14, 7, 11, 15, and 10. So I mean, his rebounds are fine.
Yeah.
But he's just not scoring, and he's not playing much. Only one of the games he reached 30 minutes, and he's not taking shots. I mean, that could be part of it. He's averaging. I mean, if I'm trying to do quick math in my head, he's averaging about 5 to 6 shots a game.
Right. Because he ain't getting post up. Like he's a poor man's DeAndre Jordan at this point in his career.
Ooh.
So really, it's pretty much been Millsap and Schroeder versus the Wizards.
Yeah.
Can Millsap and Schroeder hold them off and force a Game 7?
No.
if Dwight gets more points.
Well, I think
Dwight's
it's
the X factor.
It's more so for me. I do think it's going to go to 7 because all the home teams have won their games. Obviously, I'm a Wizard fan, but I think it's more so about Atlanta's defensive job. They're if they have a calling card, it's what they do on the defensive side. John Wall and Bradley Beal are going to get their points. It's the other guys, whether Otto Porter, Marcin Gortat, Markieff Morris. If those guys get in the double digits, then the Washington Wizards have decisively beat the Atlanta Hawks. But the games that the Hawks have won have been when those guys have struggled.
Well, don't forget about Bogdanovich, because that guy
he struggled too.
He had 14 points in this last game.
That's his first good game in over a month. For the Watch, I mean, you know, I watched them really exclusively. The Washington Wizards are a better basketball team for sure, and they got a little bit entitled, which is why the series is still close. But for me, it's not the Hawks. If they impact this game, it was because they did a very good job defensively. It has nothing to do with if Dwight Howard scores 15 or if he scores 8, because they're not going to outscore the Washington Wizards. It's just not going to happen. But I mean, that's just my opinion. But that's from my synopsis of watching this series. That's kind of the key for the Hawks if they win this series.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Final matchup that we're going to talk about tonight. Last night we had the Celtics take a 3-2 series lead over the Bulls. They won 108-97. They had 3 players each score over 20 in Isaiah Horford and Avery Bradley. To me, this game was what we were thinking the Celtics would be in the playoffs. Obviously, the first couple games dealing with the whole Isaiah Thomas thing. Obviously, that took a toll on everybody, not just Isaiah. And now they're kind of getting everything back together. This team that played on Game 5, I think, will give the Cavs a run for their money if they play like this. Thoughts? Everyone's just like, yeah. All right.
I'm pretty sure we all expected this. I don't think when Chicago jumped out to a 2-0 lead that we were saying, okay, Boston's out of it. I hope no one said that.
No, I hope not.
I did until Rondo got her. I thought
Boston is a hell of a team. I did
they
not
are,
see
but
them.
they weren't showing it, and I just felt that Chicago had some type of juice going for them. It might have been adrenaline, but I think without Rondo, not a chance.
No,
and not that
definitely.
I thought that Rondo was the X factor when this series started, but just the way they were playing them, and even in the losses, I just kind of felt like the Celtics looked a bit off and defeated. They didn't look like a number 1 seed.
Yeah, no, they were defeated, but I think it was defeated in spirit, and it really had to do with the whole Isaiah Thomas issue. Their main man was down, and I think they really kind of felt that. But Boston has this game. I'm really surprised that Dwayne Wade led Chicago in scoring this game.
Yeah, well, the last couple of games, they figured out a way to stop Butler. I mean, he only had 14 points in this game. He didn't do too well the last game, I don't believe. He's really got to show up if they want to force a Game 7.
So do you guys not think that Rajon Rondo has played any role in this series? Like, you think if Rajon Rondo was still playing, that the Boston would look as good as they do now?
I mean, the Bulls would definitely look better.
Right.
I mean,
you expected Boston.
They literally started winning when Rondo got hurt.
Right. I think that Boston would have woke up. So I don't think it would have been a sweeper. It just wouldn't have been competitive. But I do think that there is something to be said about whatever Rondo's influence had at that moment. They looked cohesive and together, especially considering that we know that Rondo, D-Wade, and Jimmy, D-Wade and Jimmy on this side, it seemed Rondo on this side had some clashes earlier in the season when they were calling each other out on Instagram and in the press and so forth. So I think that they overcame something and somehow it kind of come together. Maybe it was revenge. Maybe Rondo was just hyped because he was playing his old team, but it seemed to have meant something.
But grade Rondo's season though.
Oh, overall in the season,
fail.
Disappointing.
Yeah.
In the playoffs,
he only does
now,
well on national TV.
he's just now coming on, I think, right before his injury. So I really don't think that he would have made, if he was still playing, I think the outcome would still be the same.
Interesting.
Boston would win this game. Or this series, sorry.
Now, we know Rondo is going to be out for Game 6. They've already announced that. He's trying to make sure he's better for a potential Game 7.
Wow.
Will there be a Game 7? Do we think the Bulls can win Game 6 at home? They lost their first 2 at home.
It's going to be tough. I mean, Jimmy Butler's got to show out. Dwayne Wade's got to show up, and they need a third player.
I mean, Robin Lopez in Game 5 had a very good game. He had 14 points, 6 of 7 from the field.
Yeah.
He's definitely got to do that again. Portis in the first couple games was all over the place, and he
No, I
just
like him.
disappeared after that.
Yeah.
I mean, Boston's the better team. They can Chicago muster a win? Yeah, I think they can muster a win. Who's Rondo going to be Game 7 if he comes back? Like, what are they? You know, he's got some serious injuries.
Yeah, I just think that they missed their window. They had a small window, and it was open for them, and now it's not.
Yeah.
Coach Rodriguez, do you think the Bulls can force a Game 7?
No, not without Rondo. And even if Rondo plays, I'm not sure how healthy he is. I think the second he went out, the series just changed. And I think if he was healthy the whole series, they probably would have wrapped it up by now.
Chicago would have wrapped it up.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, wow.
I agree with Coach.
See?
You think so too?
He's just kissing up the coach.
Maybe that's what it is.
he thinks he's like the star.
I'm
getting
trying to
most
play,
money and all
man.
that.
Look, I needed a contract next year.
Man, I'm the heart and soul of this team. Been here the longest, at least on the have I? I don't know.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
On AfterBuzz, I've been here the
You're
longest.
the OG.
I'm the OG.
Yeah.
Tim Duncan.
Yeah, I'm the Tim Duncan. I'm reliable at AfterBuzz. Jill, we got some news and gossip.
We do.
All
So
right.
first up, let's start with, the Big Three is coming this summer. With
the league?
Yeah, the league where Ice Cube is starting, and it has, various ballers that are in the sun. Well, they're retired, but they still feel like they're just in the sunset of their careers and that they have something more to give. And one game a week is pretty chill. So now there's another league that's coming for retired ballers to play in over the summer, so you can enjoy those guys. It's the Champions Basketball League. They too have a superstar commissioner that is also a West Coast legend.
His name is
Snoop Dogg.
Snoop Doggy Dogg.
And let me just give you a couple of the names of the
Wait a
players that are participating in this
Is this
league.
a 3-on-3 also?
It's
or?
a 3-on-3.
Okay.
No. Actually, this is 5-on-5.
Okay.
I thought
Okay.
Snoop joined the Big Three. I must have read that wrong.
He may have, but he's also the commissioner for Champions League. They've been trying to get this off the ground for a while as well. It also involves Earl the Pearl Monroe, Walt Clyde Frazier, so legendary
As coaches,
NBA
not
players.
as
So as
coaches. I was
coaches,
gonna say.
no.
I wanna make that clear
As
for you guys,
coaches, yeah.
'cause I wouldn't get excited off of that.
So, and some of the same players that are playing in the Big Three are also playing in this because, a couple of games in the summer, that's like Summer League. That's fun. You go on tour in the summer. So, Al Harrington, Kenyon Martin, Sean Marion, Chris Smith, who's J.R. Smith's brother, Corey Maggette, Jamal Tinsley, Tyshawn Taylor, I don't even remember that career, Daniel Boobie Gibson, Kareem Rush, his girlfriend is currently on Basketball Wives right now, so you could maybe see a double stroke of him. Anthony Mason Jr., Ronaldo Balkman, there you go, old Knicks coach Josh. So that's it for right now.
Yeah, so
I'm not excited about that.
So
I'm more
what?
excited
I
about the AI
mean, you
league.
did
Yeah.
you did say legends, right? I was waiting for you to say some.
I
You
said
said
a
champions.
West Coast legend. It's called the Champions League. I said
who
the
in there was a
commissioner is
champion?
a West Coast legend. They could have some more players joining. Just
think this is
they got
the
good
league
players
to-
They
in
do.
college.
Wait,
too.
didn't
They got
Sean
good-
Marion get a ring
They
with
got
Dallas?
good college players. They do.
Sean Marion
now you
got
got
a-
to ring, I think, with Miami.
No, with Miami, he got a ring on the two. I should know that.
Sitting on the
2006.
bench.
Hey, it's still a ring.
Yeah.
He,
Be
he's
the
still,
development league
sub.
I was gonna say, this is like the
Cube
poor
league.
man's
Yeah,
Big Three.
This
These
is the
guys
D
will
League.
work
This
towards
is
getting on
Who
the
was
team.
gonna come out to see these
this is
guys?
this is the Z League.
Hey.
Chris
As in Z's, I'm gonna be getting my Z's while watching this
Right.
with those players.
I
None
mean,
of
some
them
of the
are those marquee superstars that we have in the
I
Big Three.
can't wait to be on the edge of my seat and watching 18-14 final score.
I mean,
yeah.
Boobie Gibson.
Jamal Tinsley,
he did
maybe.
come in as a guest for our Sports Weekly show. but-
Hey, and don't he's going to be on Love and Hip Hop Hollywood next season with his
Shout out to
ex-wife.
Boogie.
So lots
cannot
of surprises. You can
Wait,
check him out too.
Run a couple of those names again. Kenyon Martin.
Kenyon
Sean-
Martin,
I love the
Al
Jamal
Harrington,
Tinsley
Sean
one.
Marion,
Ronaldo
Jamal
Balkman.
Tinsley, Brooklyn's finest, right?
So these
Brooklyn
were guys.
stand up.
These guys were like the third best player on their team.
Some of
Hey,
if that.
Yeah, some of them couldn't
If
stay
that.
in the NBA.
they're having a meet and greet for the LA team. We don't know who's going to play on that.
Can't wait for that.
May 10th out here.
This is wrong. This is
So
wrong.
they have teams in Chicago, Detroit, Dallas, like I said, LA, Minneapolis, Houston, Phoenix, San Francisco on the East Coast, New York, DC, Atlanta, Orlando,
I don't care.
Philadelphia, Boston, Cleveland, and Miami.
Your Atlanta team's gonna be Nick Anderson, Bo Outlaw, and Daryl Armstrong, and I'm not gonna be into that at all.
Bo Outlaw was a Clippers almost legend. Come on now.
Yeah.
Come on.
This is
I don't
great.
know who's gonna go out to see these guys unless they play before the big three.
No,
Pre-game for
I
the pre-show.
know.
Then
Yeah.
I watch them. Yes.
Or before like the Harlem Globetrotters or something.
And then don't forget June 26th is it the NBA awards where you'll finally find out who's MVP, who's Rookie of the Year.
After
and
the
then-
season and the draft.
And Drake's hosting More Life.
Why is it so? It's
I
not.
don't understand it.
Because
either.
they want to have an award show. They can't have it any earlier because the finals are going on, so they want to make sure that their marquee players are able to attend.
But why didn't they do it before the playoffs started then? Because
There's
all
no
regular season
time.
award. Yes, there was. You move them. You move the player. You're giving the teams 4-day rests in between games anyway.
But you're not gonna. But the teams that are gonna be in the playoffs, they're not gonna come because they're gonna be focused on the playoffs. So you're gonna have a lot of your superstars aren't gonna show up. I was at the ones in Vegas a couple of years ago for the NBA Players Association. And they had it during the players' meetings, so to encourage them to attend. And it really wasn't a lot of the guys you would expect to see there. So,
But this is not only is this after the season ends, this is after the draft. So all everyone's
Everything.
caring about
We've
is
literally
free
moved on.
agency.
Right.
Yeah.
If anything, for the NBA season, you know what? Because at that point, everyone's just like, okay, now it's baseball, and now like football training camp started, and da-da-da. Like
So
they're
it's-
not gonna.
it's a few
terrible
short days
timing.
after the draft.
A few short days.
Are
The
they
draft
using,
is the 22nd, and the show is 4 days later.
And the finals ended when? If
Probably
it goes
a couple of days
June
before that.
12
Probably
or
June.
something?
No. It's
Yeah,
gonna. It
mid-June.
gets like 18th, 20th.
If it goes 7.
If it goes
Right.
7, yeah.
I mean, it's so pointless because at this point, Westbrook's out. We're not going to watch him for another 6 weeks, and then we're supposed to be tuning in. And when he should win the MVP, based on how he did, everyone's going to be like, I don't know, why didn't they go to LeBron? Why didn't they go to Harden? Why didn't they go to Kawhi? These guys, I was watching them play so well
Throughout the
because that
playoffs.
was their current memory of it because they're watching the playoffs. Obviously, that's not counting for the awards.
Well, here's the thing, though. They'll have seen someone get the finals MVP, so they'll be satiated with that, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, it was a champion." You know,
They're not going to give the finals MVP after the finals?
No, they're going to give the finals MVP during the
Why?
finals
That's ridiculous.
on the floor.
Yes, you give it on the court when they get the title.
No, I'm saying that's what I'm
That's what
saying.
they're doing.
Oh, they are
So
doing it.
they'll-
You thought they were doing an award
I thought you were
show.
doing that at the
No,
award show.
what I'm saying is they
thank
won't be
God.
worried about the Kawhis or the LeBrons or the Currys or KDs or whoever
Yeah.
might take home that award in the finals because they'll have seen them do that, and then they can hark back reflectingly and lovingly to last season and look at Russ's triple doubles and
They-
have a greater appreciation.
Seems like they just really want the players to be there.
They want the
that's
players
the
to
point.
be there.
Yeah.
Drake is
It's
producing.
too late though.
So they're making like this really big
And-
event,
and-
a marquee event.
Yeah, and I
Red
mean,
carpet and everything, maybe?
Yeah, and it's definitely going to be red carpet. And what I also noticed is it's also after the BET Awards, which is something a lot of the players tend to attend and go to. So
Where's it gonna be?
It's in New York actually, because the MBPA headquarters are there. Obviously, the NBA is there. And Drake is producing the entire show. So remember, he hosted the ESPYs that
So
time a
is,
couple
is,
summers
it, is
ago.
it at the where is it at in New York? Do we know?
Let's see. I'm not sure.
Yeah, if you want to try to look it up, because I mean, if it's at Barclays or Madison Square Garden, I mean, I guess that's the biggest basketball event that's been at either of those arenas in years.
What do you think it'll draw that many people as spectators to fill up?
Well, the way they set
Unless
the
they do it
stage
at
and
a
stuff, they-
theater at
Yeah,
Madison
no,
Square
I mean-
Garden.
I mean, they could have seat fillers.
There is a theater at Madison Square Garden.
Oh, okay,
that's
so
what I was
maybe
thinking,
that's-
just
yeah.
a smaller venue inside.
Yeah.
I mean,
We'll see though. We'll see. I think they're trying it out. I agree. It should be earlier.
I think it's
Yeah.
right. Like I know NFL does it before the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
The night
but
before.
yes, but they give kind of that whole, like, they have that 2-week break where they're doing everything and they have the awards ceremony
Yeah.
then, but it's still at least during the season.
Yeah.
Even though I do agree, I feel that should be done after the end of the regular season as well.
Yeah.
But everyone's out there, prepping for the Super Bowl and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This one, because there are so many players. I mean, Rookie of the Year award. Those are typically on teams that aren't anywhere in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Right.
And everyone's going to be Rookie of the Year. Who was that? I don't remember him.
Sixth Man of the Year, defensive play, everything.
All of them.
Right.
It does feel kind of late.
We'll see how. If it's a
We'll
good
see
event,
how it
super
happens.
late
It's,
over
it's
it.
not what we're used to. But
Yeah. I mean,
Wow.
maybe, Drake.
And then isn't the ESPYs like a week or two after that?
The ESPYs is usually mid-July, so like
Right.
July 15th, July 16th.
So they're doing this big thing for this,
Hmm.
and then we're immediately going to ESPYs, which Drake has hosted.
Yes, he has. And I'm not sure who's hosting the ESPYs this summer. I don't think they've announced it yet.
I don't
Is
know.
Drake like the NBA ambassador?
Well, he's the Raptors ambassador, and he's
of.
friends with Steph Curry. You know, he's replaced Lil Wayne as the hip hop fan that kind of travels around, and yeah.
I'm cool with Drake being there
Yeah.
because he did a good job at the ESPYs. It was entertaining.
I got no problem with Drake specifically. I'm
Yeah.
just saying it just seems odd that they were going all out for this big award show, and then all these NBA players have to go to another bigger award
ESPYs,
show.
Yeah.
Right.
But I mean, well, bigger as far as mainstream, but these awards are bigger to them than an ESPY award.
And they're on vacation at this point. Most of the
Right.
league, they're on vacation.
But
with their
they've been on
families,
vacation, so they don't
spending-
mind coming. But they usually.
see.
So here's the thing.
Well, some
what
of
I've
them
noticed
teams in the
about the
finals
NBA
weren't.
schedule, they usually take their island or away vacations in like August, right before September, when they have to start getting ready and getting back in shape before they head into camp. So they'll be back from whatever their season vacations. Because remember, they stopped playing in April, so by mid-June they'll be back for a minute, getting ready to start up in Drew League, getting ready for summer leagues to start if they participate or to watch their teams in Vegas. So. We'll see how it turns out.
We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see.
That's a long time to wait for MVP.
It really is.
The
I
suspense
think
is
it
already
is
there
too,
anyway.
yeah.
With the way the race is this season.
Yeah.
To wait so long.
And now the talk about it is going to completely fade to obscurity now that Westbrook is out
Right.
of the playoffs. So, and then all of a sudden, like we said, it's literally 2 months from now.
Yeah.
Then it was just like, oh yeah, remember when he
To
did
the
this?
day, yeah, almost to the
Right.
day.
Right.
So.
And Harden's gonna get more face time. And then when Russell Westbrook wins, you're gonna be like, well, should have gone to Harden because we've seen him play
Exactly.
all of the playoffs. He's done well.
But nobody's going to forget the fact that Russell averaged a triple-double this season. And
Casual NBA fans will.
I mean, yeah, you have to.
Casual
but
remind
they'll,
them.
fans.
they'll get that
Not our
information from
great
the
fans.
highlights package. Not you guys, no, you know, but they'll get that in the highlights package when he walks up to accept.
Well, we can talk about this all night, and obviously we got more playoffs that are coming over the next week. If you want to leave us comments about your thoughts on whether or not Drake would be a good host for this season, on whether or not you feel I'm right and this should have been done a couple weeks ago, or if you're okay with the timing of it, let us know on the YouTube page. And of course, you can talk to us on various forms of social media. Jill, how can we reach out to you?
You can hit me up everywhere at Stiletto Jill. That's Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, all the good ones. Let's talk.
All the good ones.
All the good ones.
I like that. All the
ones.
good ones.
Deanjilo.
Hit me up on Twitter, on Instagram at Deanjilo TV on Twitter and at Deanjilo on Instagram.
Josh Johnson.
Get hype, get hype, get hype.
Do it. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready for you to drop it.
Hopes up
You know
and
what?
just,
I'll
Show
drop it.
Drake what's
I'll
up.
drop it on my Instagram, JJ the Talented. How about that?
All right, kid, I like
Okay,
that.
okay.
Coach Rodriguez.
What's up, guys? I'm Josh Rodriguez. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Josh_Rodriguez_.
And you can follow me on Twitter at Josh Tariff. And for all your other AfterBuzz TV news and gossip, follow them on Twitter at AfterBuzz TV. Thanks so much for tuning in this week. For Coach Josh Rodriguez in the booth, Jill Munroe, Deanjilo Platt, and Josh Johnson, I'm Josh Tariff. We'll see you later.
Deuces.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.